Now at 7. It wasn't just the rain, it was the Bay Area snow today that was the big weather talker. And this looks like the Sierra, but some lower elevations got more than just flurries, where we even saw some snow plows today.
Afternoon downpours giving way to a few leftover showers this evening, and now that the sun is going down, these are going to quiet down. There is more rain headed our way before the weekend is over. Details on that in the First Alert forecast.
Also, local veterans say the message from the government is loud and clear.
We don't really care about you. After the sacrifices that all veterans have made in service to their country.
How they are trying to fight back against cuts threatening some of their critical benefits. And 5 days and still no VTA service. Why hopes for a possible deal to end a strike soon are now derailed.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. A break from the rain. Clear skies right now as we head into the weekend, but that's after quite a mixed bag of weather all day. So we saw scattered showers across the Bay Area. It was pouring in Walnut Creek early in the afternoon, making it difficult for drivers to get around. And then we also saw some problems. A huge tree came crashing down on a home in Rohnert Park, and it caused quite a lot of damage. Thankfully, the woman who lives there is okay, but her home on Myrtle Avenue is now red tagged. But the best weather surprise, and the biggest one to many people, may have been the low snow. These are pictures from Livermore. You can see the deck and patio furniture just covered in snow. This is along Mines Road, courtesy of Susie Marino, a longtime friend of mine. She posted these pictures on Facebook, and I had to actually take a double take. Wait, what? This is Livermore? Okay, and then Lake County looked almost like the Sierra today. The snow was coming down in Cobb early this morning. Even Caltrans was called in to plow some of the roads. So obviously, Paul Hagen standing by here. This isn't something we see every day, certainly not in Livermore.
Yeah.
A lot of snow. I have a feeling it's gone by now.
It's gone by
right?
now, and it was still in the higher elevations, kind of not, that wasn't downtown Livermore.
No, it wasn't
obviously.
downtown,
Right, you're
right.
going up in elevation, but
Right.
snow levels came down to around 2,500, even down to 2,000 feet overnight. And we're still tracking a few showers left over. Let's take a look at the radar replay here over the last 12 hours, because we had widespread rain for the morning commute. That's what we expected. That moved off to the east, and we saw some leftover showers, which we expected. The one surprise was that some of those showers became pretty hefty downpours this afternoon, even a couple of them almost becoming thunderstorms. Now that activity has moved out. And while we still have a couple of leftover showers, those are going to go by the wayside within the next hour or two. As the sun goes down, that removes a lot of energy from the atmosphere, and this particular storm system will be done with us. After it dropped, well, a good amount of rain, enough to kind of chip away at the rainfall deficit in places like Livermore and San Jose. Not enough to lead to any significant issues in terms of flooding. Just short of an inch of rain for Ben Lomond and Santa Rosa, 0.8 of an inch of rain for San Rafael, but just under a ½ inch of rain for San Francisco, 0.3 in San Jose, and just under a ¼ inch of rain for Livermore, mixed in with some of those snowflakes in the higher terrain. As we head through the weekend, mostly dry. More clouds for the northern half of the Bay Area, and a few hit or miss showers in the afternoon for the North Bay on Sunday will give way to more widespread rain across the entire Bay Area late Sunday evening into Sunday night, with some lingering showers on Monday, but that's going to hold off until the very end of the weekend. So things are looking good for the St. Patrick's Day parade in San Francisco tomorrow. 11:30 start for the parade. Temperatures are going to be in the 50s. We'll see more clouds than sunshine in the city and for the North Bay as well. But the farther south you go and the farther inland in the East Bay, you are going to see more sunshine for the first half of the weekend. We'll take a look at the full weekend forecast and track that next round of rain coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Paul, thank you. And make sure you're careful if you're driving up to the Sierra this weekend, as snow levels have reached below 3,000 feet. And that means roads that don't usually need to be plowed or treated are now buried under inches of fresh snow. As for the locals, well, they're making the best of it, of course.
Well, this is a snowstorm. Instead of going for a nice walk in the morning, I come out here and shovel snow for a couple hours.
As for getting up there, chain controls are in effect on Highway 50 from Kyberts to Myers, so plan accordingly. All right, across the Bay Area now, veterans are fighting back against cuts they say will strip them of services they earned by serving our country. More than 2,000 workers have already been laid off from the Department of Veterans Affairs. But that may only be the tip of the iceberg, with the head of the VA promising to shed a total of 80,000 jobs. Even though legal challenges may slow down the layoffs, it still leaves a lot of veterans and their families in limbo. Our care of St. Cyr is in San Rafael, where protesters are concerned that vets could miss out on health care and also critical services.
So we're handing out pink cards.
These pink letters are a symbol of Lisa Garrick's protest.
Just sign and just make sure, if you can, to mail them tomorrow.
She, along with 50 others, are rallying against the potential cuts to the Department of Veterans Affairs.
This is my dad, Steve Garrick, and he fought in the 51st or the 61st fighter group.
Garrick says the VA supported her family for years. Her father used VA loans to buy a house and push the family out of poverty. The thought of servicemen losing those benefits brings her to tears.
And I just feel like we have to keep fighting back.
The Trump administration fired thousands of VA workers and proposed cuts to 585 VA contracts, which help fund services like basic health care or insurance.
We'll be making major changes, so get used to it. Right now, VA's biggest problem is that its bureaucracy and inefficiencies are getting in the way of customer convenience and service to veterans.
On Thursday, a U.S. district judge in San Francisco ordered that VA employees be reinstated, but the Justice Department indicated it will appeal the ruling. That's left veterans like Larry Moss anxious about the future.
There's not a soul in my family that's ever had diabetes or sleep apnea. I have both, and it's like I said when I was talking, both attributed to my exposure to Agent Orange.
Moss uses the VA for almost all of his medical needs. Without it, he's not sure how he'd access primary care doctors or his prescriptions. He says these cuts send a clear message to veterans.
We don't really care about you. After the sacrifices that all veterans have made in service to their country, we now have a country that says, frankly, it doesn't matter. To hell with it.
These ralliers stood in the rain and the cold, joining veterans across the country pleading that their services and VA workers be spared.
As Kara mentioned, this was part of a nationwide protest that included a big rally outside the U.S. Capitol. Well, the first week of the VTA strike officially in the books, with no sign of a deal that will get the buses and light rail trains rolling again. So that means tens of thousands of people who rely on VTA likely need a plan B for next week.
Union power! ATU! Union power! ATU!
The agency says 2 mediation sessions yesterday and today ended without a resolution. Meantime, riders like Sarah Lawton are caught in the middle. She says it's hard to keep up with any alternative plans.
Struggling. Like this day, I'll take the car, and this day, he will drop me off and pick me up, and this day, maybe I can work from home.
The union is asking for an 18% raise over 3 years and a better arbitration process for when employees have a complaint, while VTA is offering a 9% pay raise over 3 years, saying anything more would lead to cuts in service. A restaurant staple that's been hard to find.
Because the problem with the egg and the source, we don't have any egg in San Francisco.
But why the national egg shortage has actually been good news for 2 local businesses on opposite sides of the bay. And the big adjustment for drivers starting today on San Francisco's west side. It's close to the real thing, but it doesn't come from chickens. With eggs being in short supply, some are turning to egg alternatives. Our Suji Nam takes us inside a local manufacturer where they're scrambling to keep up with the sudden spike in demand.
It may look like an egg, but it's not. It's a vegan alternative made with mung beans.
The experiments we ran were in my buddy's studio apartment in Los Angeles.
Soon enough, Josh Tetrick found the protein sequences to create a texture similar to scrambled eggs. 3 years later, they launched this vegan alternative, Just Eggs, while continuing to test more recipes out of Emeryville.
And this machine over here spins it really fast, fiber, fat, starch comes out, and then we're left with whole mung bean protein.
You may have seen the Just Eggs product when you're at the grocery store, sitting right by cartons of eggs. Well, probably now, mostly empty shelves due to the bird flu. But Josh says his business has been booming nationwide as more consumers are scrambling to buy egg alternatives.
Just Egg is growing 5 times faster today relative to the same period a year ago. It's also growing 5 times faster than chicken eggs.
Anecdotally, he's been hearing of more interest in egg alternatives overall.
The topic of egg prices came up, and they said, I saw this yellow carton, it was the only egg on the shelf, and I tried it, and it tasted like an egg.
According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the national average price for a dozen of eggs was $5.90 last month, nearly a $1 jump from January. And in California, the USDA reported that in March, the average price of a dozen eggs, $10.35. But the cost of chicken eggs hasn't impacted Rat Radish, a San Francisco vegan restaurant. In fact, they tell us the egg shortage has actually made them busier than ever.
It's been very popular like these 3 weeks because you know the problem with the egg and the source, we don't have any egg in San Francisco.
Carlos Suarez, the sous chef of Rat Radish, serves just egg in their dishes and says today's price of grocery store eggs pushes customers to try something new. And back here in Emeryville, Josh says with the impact of the bird flu, it opens up a greater conversation about environmental sustainability.
The good thing about using beans is you can pack them body to body in tiny little spaces, and they're never going to get the flu, they're never going to breathe on each other. So it allows us to make eggs in a more efficient way.
And it also shows that in a time of dwindling egg supply, families in the Bay Area and nationwide are resorting to alternatives to get that near perfect egg.
I know. The big question, what does it taste like? Okay, Suji says she did taste the difference. Not the same density as real eggs and similar to tofu, but overall, it got high remarks. Oh, it's that weekend of the year when everyone becomes a little Irish. Dublin, the one in Alameda County, that is holding its annual St. Patrick's Day celebration. There will be an Irish marketplace, food and dancing, and maybe even a few pints. So dig out your green. The party starts tomorrow. It runs through Sunday at Civic Center Plaza. Always festive in Dublin, so we want great weather. For the record, believe it or not, this is a bright green dress.
It's not bright green.
Okay, but it translates.
Bright green is the entire environment we're standing in right now.
Well, yeah, they can't really see. It's a green screen, but this translates differently. But
it does. It's more of a forest green.
Forest green.
Which apparently comes across as blue.
On that,
once it goes to the camera.
On that note, weather for all the festivities, how's that going to be in the Bay Area?
Looking good for most of the weekend. So it's nice that we get kind of a dry break to take us through what's a couple days off for most people. Let's take a look at what you need to know as we head into St. Patrick's Day weekend. Here's a live look outside from Salesforce Tower, and you can see little showers in the distance there, but those are quieting down. The last of those showers going to wind down within the next hour or two. Dry break for most of the weekend, but not quite all of it. Few showers in the North Bay on Sunday will become more widespread by Sunday evening and Sunday night, and temperatures are going to remain below average even during this dry break over the weekend. Let's talk about current temperatures as we're enjoying a little bit of a respite from the heaviest rainfall. We're seeing temperatures that are only in the lower half of the 50s. Not much variation. Everybody between 51 and 53 degrees. So we're already well below what's normal for a March evening, and temperatures will continue dropping even with the cloud cover trying to hang out for much of the night. Low temperatures dropping down into the upper 30s in the North Bay valleys, 38, 39 degrees for Santa Rosa, Petaluma, Napa, and Fairfield. Pretty much everybody else leveling off in the low to mid 40s, which is below normal for the middle of March. But temperatures tomorrow, when they try to bounce back, they're going to end up a good 5 to 10 degrees below average. And that's a significant departure from normal. 62 degrees in San Jose, one of the warmest spots in the map, or one of the least cool spots. Also 62 in Fremont and Antioch. Mostly low 60s inland, mostly around 60 around the Bay, but only upper 50s for the North Bay. It's not just because of that colder start in the morning, but you're also going to have more cloud cover floating throughout the day, blocking that March sunshine and keeping your temperatures from warming up quite as much as other inland parts of the Bay Area. The next round of rain is going to move in, as I mentioned, late Sunday for most of us. Let's take a look at Futurecast from 11 a.m. Sunday through 11 p.m. So here are those intermittent showers for the North Bay on Sunday. They're going to be more mist than hit for most of the afternoon, but by late afternoon, the rain spreads out in the North Bay, and then it spreads out across the rest of the Bay Area Sunday evening and continuing Sunday night. This is going to be another event like today's that ranks below the threshold where it would be categorized as an atmospheric river, but it is going to send some decent rain across the Bay Area and some gusty winds as well. So let's talk about the wind energy associated with this system. Won't be too much of a problem as you're waking up on Sunday. The wind gusts aren't going to be overly strong, but they will start to pick up already by noon, even when we're still dry, as the atmosphere gets squeezed ahead of that approaching storm system. The winds really pick up as the more widespread rain is just approaching the coast. By 5 o'clock in the evening, we're seeing more 25 to 35 mile an hour gusts, but the cutting off point for a wind advisory is at 40 miles an hour. So we're going to stay just a little bit below that. It also means that all this storm would have to do is strengthen a little bit, and we would be seeing a wind advisory posted for parts of the Bay Area with the potential for some more tree damage. The winds will start to back down a bit as the heaviest rain moves through Sunday night, but it's still going to be breezy on Monday. 10 to 15 mile an hour gusts to start the day and more 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts Monday afternoon, even after the showers have tapered off. Total rainfall out of this next system is going to be another modest rainmaker, but helping to chip away at that rainfall deficit in San Jose and Livermore. About a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch for inland parts of the East Bay and the Santa Clara Valley. Elsewhere, about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of total rainfall. Some spots will overachieve and pick up closer to 1 inch of rain, especially the Marin Headlands. Some of the coastal ranges in the North Bay and in the Santa Cruz Mountains have the better chance of overachieving a little bit. And it's going to be another snowmaker in the Sierra. Winter storm watch already in effect. It'll be upgraded to a winter storm warning because they're going to pick up another 1.5 to 2, maybe even close to 3 feet of total snowfall. This is going to start to fly after the sun goes down Sunday evening. So if you're heading up in that direction tomorrow, either get back before the snow starts or just plan on hanging out for a couple of extra days. Let's check out the 7-day forecast, which, like we have all week, we only need to show you one of them because there's no real difference in our microclimates. Everybody on an even playing field temperature-wise. We have that next round of rain late Sunday into Monday, and then a dry day on Tuesday. Lots of sunshine on Tuesday, which is nice. More clouds on Wednesday with some overnight light rain showers Wednesday night, and then another couple of dry days with a mix of clouds and sun by Thursday and Friday. Jules?
Top of the morning to you. Been dying to say that to you. All right, coming up. The Great Highway is no longer drivable. How neighbors are dealing with the controversial changes so far. Do you have plans tomorrow night, Paul?
Hey, I'm Johnny Mosley with the latest Toyota Tahoe report. Before hopping in your Toyota, let's run through the conditions you're going to see up in the mountains.
All sorts of snow in the Sierra this week. The Central Sierra Snow Lab recorded its snowiest day in almost 2 years, and the resorts have been getting in on the action as well. The numbers that you're looking at on the map are the 24-hour snowfall reports that each resort submitted this morning. But of course, more snow has piled up on top of that since then. The last flakes with this storm will fall overnight, so the road crew should be able to catch up and clear things up for everyone heading up to the mountains to enjoy all of this fresh powder. And this weekend's weather is looking pretty good as well. Maybe some light snow at some of the northernmost resorts on Saturday. Otherwise, you'll see a mix of clouds and sunshine with morning lows in the 20s and daytime highs in the 30s. The next wave of heavy snow will move in Sunday night, so I'd plan to either hustle back Sunday evening or just spend a couple extra days up there. Either way, we will be here keeping you updated in the Toyota Tahoe Report.
San Francisco has officially closed the upper stretch of the Great Highway to cars. Crews today put up barriers and then rerouted traffic to start the transformation into an oceanfront park. The change comes after months of controversy over Prop K, which passed in November with 54% support in a citywide vote. But nearly 2/3 of Sunset residents voted against closing the road. We heard from some in the neighborhood today.
I think it has the possibility to be a good thing. But I think that it should have been more focused on this neighborhood to vote on it.
It'll be an adjustment, but I wish it stayed the way it was.
A group of neighbors have sued the city in an effort to overturn the Great Highway's closure. The new park is set to open to the public on April 12th. Up next, it's a party for pie. How the Exploratorium celebrated this unofficial math holiday. And don't forget, March Madness tips off this Sunday when the field of 68 teams is announced right here on CBS News Bay Area. Tune in at 4 o'clock for a Selection Sunday edition of Game Day with Vern Glenn and Matt Lively. Plus, several guest pickers as we unveil our brand new bracket mountain, and you can compete against us throughout the tournament. Just scan the QR code or go to kpix.com/bracket challenge to register your entry now. Then submit your picks before the first round begins next Thursday. Today is March 14th, or 314, otherwise known as Pi Day. Okay, Okay, that is a Pi Day parade at San Francisco's Exploratorium. If you remember from math class, 3.14 is the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter, that is. We asked the educator at the Exploratorium what makes the number so special.
Pi has been calculated to trillions of decimal points, which is really amazing because it just keeps going and going. And when you have that many numbers in that assemblage, you're going to find patterns within there that are exciting.
Today's celebration included slices of actual pie. It was moon pie to honor last night's eclipse. For Warriors fans, Pi Day is also known as Steph Curry's birthday. He's not only celebrating his 37th year today, but also a new NBA record of 4,000 three-point shots made. He achieved the milestone against the Kings last night. Congrats, Steph, and happy birthday. Have some pie and some cake and whatever you want. Thanks for watching. The news continues at 8 on KPIX Plus or 44 Cable 12. See you right back here at 11 o'clock. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. Thanks so much for watching. To view more content like this, we've selected some videos we think you'll enjoy. So please be sure to hit like and then click the link in the left-hand bottom corner to subscribe.